Damn.
Good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from, straight from the 909. It's Mark, myself, Isaiah, and together, that's
hip hop. A show.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. It really means a lot. Today we're discussing one of the most underrated rappers in hip hop, who's highly respected among the legends in this genre. MC OC.
If you know, you know.
And it's literally short for his real name, Omar Credle. He is one of the most celebrated for his distinct style. He has intricate lyricism, introspective storytelling, and just a smooth delivery. I came in late in the game on OC, but nonetheless, I know that he was one of those guys that was about true lyricism and about really having subject matter. And he was one of those that was vocalizing that in his music. And he was about innovation, which I really liked. I felt like he had a lot to bring to the table. And he came out during a time when it was so competitive. You're talking about Nas, Biggie, just who else? Wu-Tang.
Even within his own crew?
Yeah, even got cats within his own crew. Big L,
Mace.
Yeah, so there was just a lot in that time when he came out. But he is actually one of those really underrated MCs, whenever we talk about, some of the greatest MCs of all time, OC's name doesn't it's not one of the first that jump out, but his skills are all there. As far as he's rapped with the best of them. And not as a sidekick or nothing, but as a true contender, you know what I mean? There's just something about him where I feel like you wouldn't get it just on the first look, but he comes with a lot of substance. He has something to say, and his vocal performance is just really phenomenal. His wordplay is good. You can actually understand it. So it's not difficult to interpret his lyrics. It's pretty straightforward and direct, but at the same time, very witty too, on how he flips things or how he story tells, very vivid. So we chose his debut album, We're Life Today. How did you come into OC, and what was your introduction like?
I ended up hearing him he was sampled several times. You ended up hearing a couple of his cuts intertwined within The Enemy with Big L. There's also he sampled across several songs, and then you end up getting curious as to who the gentleman is, and then where that actual verse comes from.
Yeah.
And you end up listening to OC by himself, and like you, became late to the game and in totality to him. Yeah. As far as listening to the whole album, Word Life. So we're on this journey together where we're actually going to be on an even playing field as such. And I only say that because I've listened to hip hop ad nauseum sometimes. Yeah. So it's going to be a real pleasure actually dissecting this in real time with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the ways I ended up discovering OC was actually through 8 Mile, because the one of the instrumentals that they're doing the battle scenes on is Time's Up. Yeah, and that's such a pivotal scene in 8 Mile. That's really kind of where things start to really turn around for Eminem. Or B Rabbit when he raps against what's his name, Lotto. Remember he raps against Lotto, and Lotto goes in on him too. Lotto really has some punchlines, and the whole scene is very dramatic because of the beat. It's doom doom doom.
Yeah, it's kind of mimicking the heart rate, the racing heart pulses.
Yeah, and the bass, you hear it just boom. It's very just like you're just you're anxious almost.
Builds a suspense for sure.
Yeah, for what's going to really go down, and is Eminem going to be able to overcome this guy who just called him Leave It to Beaver?
Yeah.
So once that beat came on, I was just intrigued by it, and I was just like, where is this from? Like, this is like, you know, and that's what ended up leading me to discover OC. But I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole album. I just listened to Time's Up, and Time's Up is man, that one's just I don't even know what you would call that. It's like it's not an anthem, but it's definitely one that's, I think it's a jewel in hip hop. You know,
it's a song you end up learning to appreciate the more educated you get. Like the more you age, I feel that there's going to be a lot of songs.
Yeah. Lyrically
dense songs in hip hop that you're going to appeal to more and more. More educated you become.
Yeah.
With OC's effort in 1994 Word Life, you end up getting a glimpse of a MC that knows his range lyrically, doesn't escape out of that area, but where he's at, his medium is in a bigger place than a lot of MCs at during his time. The other treat that I like from OC himself is that he barely curses.
Yeah,
curses in comparison to his contemporaries at the time.
Yeah,
where they were actually using the like foul language at a time where it was just like second nature.
Yeah,
Never
almost, there. Yeah, almost to compensate for their lack of substance, you know, as he would put it. Yeah. So with his style, OC, I was trying to really trying to get like, okay, what would his style be compared to? I do know that he was a big fan of Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap, Slick Rick, Rakim. So I know like he's rooted in that golden era of hip hop.
Yeah.
Cause he has, you know, he has this whole boom bap style on this album. You can hear very vividly, also with the mixture of jazz and soul. It's musically, it's really good.
Yeah. I would say the comparison comes when I hear him. A lot of his rhyme style comes from Guru.
Yeah, I can hear that too. Hear that too.
Where he doesn't, it feels lax. It feels like just like he's able to enunciate, able to actually project his lyrics without any stress.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's in control.
Yeah.
When he's rapping, and it sounds like when OC's rapping on this album, it feels he feels in a comfortable place, but it also feels like a lot of these songs, especially when the songs actually have thematic elements, that they come from a place where it's personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be personal like that, it's just, it feels serious.
Yeah.
And he feels serious throughout this whole album.
Yeah. Yeah. He does. I know we could eliminate something. We could do like a process of elimination because style, you know, he says Big L and Lord Finesse, they're battle rappers to the bone.
Yeah.
Like he's not a battle rapper. So we can eliminate that. But he does have some intricate wordplay, such as a organized confusion, you know, like you see bits of that in there. He talks about how, Pharoah Monch and Prince Poe would actually like just beat him about like, don't have a style like us, be unique, be like different, stop like sounding like us too much like us. So he would take away a lot because he would understand like, okay, I gotta be unique in hip hop. And I can hear bits of the Pharoah Monch part when he starts doing the double time, or even Big L a little bit. He does a little bit of it, not too much, but he does it, you know, here and there when it's like, when it feels right. But hard to really compare him to anybody else's style. I just feel like he's a kind of a mixture of who he liked or was rooted to with that of like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, and those, you know, before him, along with a mixture of like a little bit of Nas I can hear, a little bit of like a Pharaoh Monch when he starts going really intricate. And then who else? I mean, even a little bit of Biggie, I hear. Mace maybe sometimes, but it's kind of a wide mixture of that 90s golden era for sure. In that, I don't know. Storytelling is like insane. He has very vivid imagery when he's storytelling.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you're there. The beat selection, like he has good ear. He has a good ear. The timing is great. The flow is real smooth. You can really hear like everything he's saying.
Yeah. And that's really important too, because you don't want to get excited in the booth when you're spitting your raps. You know, if you got some heat on the ledger, actually writing some stuff out, sometimes you get a little prompted to amp up your delivery.
Yeah.
With his, with the way he actually had it, he's like, yeah, you guys will be ready to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it in the delivery that I think that's best, which comes with a conversation from Pharaoh Monch and the like of people who persuaded him to find his own style.
Yeah.
And he did. He doesn't sound like anybody else. He's not too new. He doesn't even, his New York accent doesn't bleed out as much.
Yeah.
The slang's all there for it to make up for that. But the fact is that this guy's, you could tell that he's well educated when the way he raps,
sure.
because
educated,
you make up the lack of cursing for a better vernacular.
That's true. He said that something about his mom made him read books, like, and then Sway asked him like, well, what kind of books? You know, Sway always kind of puts you up to, he like calls your bluff a bit. And he goes, no, man. He goes, my mom she ordered Riff. Remember Riff? And he goes, Dr. Seuss. He goes, like, he was just naming a bunch of like random books.
Oh, yeah, excerpts like, from those books.
Yeah. He was just reading a bunch of stuff. He's like, yeah, man, like I was crying, man. I didn't want to read, but she made me read. And she goes, you know, like, don't you see how reading relates to writing now? Da da da.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because I ended up. This is us taking accountability here. Mm-hmm. I'm a very tough critic on myself.
Yeah.
So I caught throughout a couple of the freestyles that we do.
Yeah.
I caught me going back to a couple of the rhyme patterns that I felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it didn't. I just heard it too many times.
Yeah.
So I dusted off the rhyming dictionary. I dusted that off, coupled with a couple of writing guides that I go back to from time to time, and went back to work and practiced a little bit, and we're almost back to form.
Yeah.
We're almost back to form, but with a lot of reading, that's like the number one tip you can give somebody to be a better lyricist, be a better MC.
Yeah.
And even with the ability of flowing off the top of the head, you end up collecting right. those words, you know, and storing them for later, or even putting them into your rhymes later on.
A couple of things. I want to just mention really quick before we change subject of his style. One of the things I picked up is that he adapts. So, with his style, because even in this album, like he's kind of doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like he'll switch it up, and he really rides the beat very well. So no matter what beat you give him, he matches not only just the timing but the tone of the beat.
Yeah.
He's a good songwriter. You know, so you got to add all that into the mix.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I did feel that his style never felt forced within any of the production.
It really rode the beat. So he's really great at that. And I feel like he's even mentioned where the next album, he like started feeling himself. So he called it the Jewels, whatever. But he started to kind of have these introspective thoughts where he was like, okay, like hip hop's evolving, you know, I got to evolve with it. Not too many people like start to really look at themselves and start to, like, rappers, I mean, and start to evolve with it. Like it takes a special MC to really like realize, okay, that's 90s sound. Let me evolve it. You know, he's not being fake about it, but he's just naturally kind of picking up little skills here and there.
Yeah, because the mindset is that if you have a debut album, kind of like Word Life or even Nas's Illmatic coming out at the same time as this, it's a hit record.
Yeah.
Why would you change? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But evolution evolution within oneself requires a very deep look.
Yeah.
And in order for someone to grow, whether it be lyrically or even just as a human being, sometimes it goes hand in hand. And sometimes it gets you the better version of yourself, but maybe not in the music side.
Right.
But overall, it's like, that's the concept of like, hey, if I already had a hit record, some people are going to be like, no, why change that? It takes a bold move to actually go and say, it was great. I did a great job there. What else can I do after that?
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know OC, I'm going to try to catch you back up to where we're at. So OC was a MC who lived across the street from Pharoah Monch back in the day. So in Queens, New York, Pharoah Monch, of course, hooks up with Prince Poe. They formed a group called Organized Confusion. Look them up. They have, I think, 3 albums before Pharoah Monch branches off.
Yeah.
Great albums. But so the way that it worked was OC was his neighbor, and he hooked up with them, and he featured on their single Fudge Pudge, which is a great track. So he's the 3rd verse on that record, and he sounds nice, really nice. And he even talks about on this album how like nobody picked him up yet. Like he still had to kind of work his way in. So he ends up doing one of the early Source tours, and he ends up with Organized Confusion, and he ends up running into Buck Wild, who was the producer for Lord Finesse's joints. And they were part of the Digging in the Crates crew.
Yeah.
Which is, if you don't know that crew, it's a very infamous crew you got to look up. But anyways, he hooks up with Buck Wild, who then him and Buck Wild, they start just connecting, and they start to do a demo. And then he turned that demo into an album when he got signed with, I forgot which label, but so he ends up dropping this album, and it was hard because it wasn't like a commercial success, but it still gained like this cult following. So those who were like considered hip hop purists, they regard this album as a classic, and I think what he said was it wasn't instant gratification when this album dropped, like he would have liked it to be.
Yeah.
But it was more of like 10 years later, people
the
are
delayed
like,
gratification.
Yeah, people are like telling him, oh, yo, I mess with this dude.
It's the album that's paying dividends in the long run.
Right.
The Coke stock of the hip hop world.
So OC ends up, just by association, ends up being a part of the Digging in the Crates crew. This crew is so big, I don't even know who's officially in it or not.
It's like the NWO, man.
It's this big association.
Big conglomerate.
DJ Premier's in it. AG, Showbiz, Lord Finesse, Fat Joe, Big L, so many. Organized Confusion.
Killer Cam.
Yeah, Killer Cam. Wow. But mainly that crew was supposed to be, because Digging in the Crates, it was mainly supposed to be like a producer crew. But it was just kind of a mixture of like whoever was just like friends or whatever, like it just hooked up. So he said it was nothing official or anything like that, but just that it just so happened to just work.
Yeah, Digging into the Crates had this one, I believe it's a mixtape. It's not even a full-fledged like album. It's called Children of the Corn.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'll have to show you one of the tracks after. It's raw lyricism from all the guys. It's like, it's an album that's more along the lines of like laissez-faire, like you just do what you want.
Right.
And they ended up expressing themselves like that. And it's a stark comparison to that of what organization that OC has on Word Life.
I was going to say that OC is one of those just like guys you might...
Dude, it's Tim Duncan, bro.
Yeah.
It's really Tim Duncan.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. Because he's very consistent, like as far as this guy's been dropping albums. He has 14 albums out. Like
where everyone's going to revere him.
Yeah, he's toured. He's done albums. He's been even international in Europe. He has a fan base. He owns his own... He owns the masters of his own music. So like when Eminem and them didn't pay for
the mile instrumental.
They didn't pay for it, or they didn't get it. So he ended up getting bank off of that, right? And he said that when he was watching the movie, particularly that scene when his track dropped, he was just like, you know how Eminem kind of pauses, like he stalls. He goes, man, all I thought was just like, ching, 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 ching.
Yeah.
And he said he just had this lawyer that was just like badass, and he just let his lawyer handle it. And they were like, no, we contacted you. He's like, you don't have my John Hancock on nothing. He's like,
make sure the master's clears, guys.
So he ended up getting, I think, $100 million. He goes, I took the fat lump sum, but I got little residual still coming from it. But
yeah, so anytime 8 Miles on TNT, AMC, whatever.
He said he waited a couple of months before he like hit them up, but he should have waited like years because it would have been better probably. But yeah, the guy's a smart man, you know. He's a smart dude.
Imagine making one of your beats and then you end up hearing it on like a Marvel joint.
Yeah.
You're going to be like,
what? Yeah.
Yes, I would. I'd like to speak to Kevin Feige, please.
Yeah. And he's also the guy, if you haven't heard, what was it called? Crooklyn Dodgers, like the Return of Crooklyn Dodgers. I mean, Crooklyn Dodgers was already a joint that was done by Special Ed, Master Ace, and Buck Wild. No, not Buck Wild. Young Buck.
Buckshot.
Buckshot. There you go. And that was like a legendary hookup because I think Q-Tip was a part of producing that beat. Legendary.
Yeah.
So to do a part 2, OC was like, I don't know, like we shouldn't touch something that's already iconic or classic. Like,
right.
But once Cuba Links 2 came out, he was seeing that this was a thing. And so he was like, oh yeah, it's fine. Let's do a part 2. So they ended up doing part 2, legendary track. DJ Premier produced it, and they did it for Spike Lee's movie, which was Clockers, I believe. And that was just like, it's such a, with, who was in that? Mekhi Phifer was in that.
Oh yeah.
And it was just it was a legendary move on his part because, you know, there's so much, not only is it music now, but now it's entering to cinema. So it comes like full circle now.
Yeah,
influence.
And that's a way to get immortalized and recognized. Yeah. And everyone's going to refer to, like, even for the case of 8 Mile.
Yeah.
It's funny that you do bring up delayed gratification because what ends up happening 10 years down this line, even from present time, let's go 2034.
Yeah.
Some guy watches, some guy really likes Eminem, watches 8 Mile for the first time. Everything predates him, by the way. This is this is a youngster. Listens to that beat, wants that beat, finds out, oh, this guy that did the beat also raps. Like, oh damn! Like ends up, he ends up going into his rabbit hole and finding out that OC is like
his B rabbit hole. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah,
he ends up finding out that like, yo, this guy can actually spit, and it's a sense of delayed gratification because in the end, the brand OC himself, lyrical as they come, ends up becoming more of like a sustainable institution to himself.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is kind of like where you're getting your just due. Respect's always been there for him, but now he's getting paid out proper.
Yeah.
Through the moves that ended up getting made.
Yeah. He said that because there was a time where he was doing shows with Biggie and Craig Mack. And so you would have found him, doing shows with those MCs, right? And he was saying like Craig Mack was killing it. He was killing it. When he did Flavor With Your Ear, it was just like he was doing, like he said, Craig Mack was doing like 4 shows a day, and so like he would try to do the beginning and let OC follow him, but then he was like, after people hear Flavor in Your Ear, they don't want to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they're already tuned out. But he was doing shows with those guys. And even P. Diddy, I guess, wanted to be his manager, but he like turned that down.
Yeah.
So you could see, like, because I guess P. Diddy wanted to like take Word Life and like and remix it all, and do it like, who knows what that's a big what if, like what would have that been like?
Let's take your classic and shake it a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of curious what P. Diddy would have done with that, but so you can see though, like how serious people take OC as an MC, as a lyricist, as a rapper. Like he has that to him, like that, where you would take him seriously because he just has so much substance. He writes. One thing about him that I liked that he said was like, he doesn't know what writer's block is anymore. It took him about 19 years to write this Word Life album. 19 years, he said, before he wrote it. 3 years after this, he writes the second album. But now he says, now I'm writing albums like nothing. But because he says, if you can't write anything over just the fact that you're breathing, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, if that alone doesn't give you reason to be able to write about life, then, you know, I can't help you. So he uses that as a reason of why he is now able to overcome writer's block, which is dope. And he talks about time and stuff, like how he doesn't think about time anymore. Like that time is not in his consciousness, only for appointments. But besides that, he just completely tries to lose himself in life and not try to be conscious so much of time, because he says time's my enemy. Like, I don't want to know like what time it is. It's my enemy. Like, that's just like a crazy mindset. But like, you can see just how smart and intelligent this guy is. And he just has a lot of substance, man.
He literally surpasses space and time now.
Yeah. So let's talk about the album cover. On the album cover, for those who are listening, it has like a collage of different photos of, it looks like to me, of things in his life. So you'll see a photo of like graffiti on a wall, or a photo of even just
like a usually
like a street street sign.
Looks like a eulogy flyer.
There's a eulogy flyer. There's just cars parked. I think there's a picture of his parents, or at least an older couple in the scene. A picture of a statue. So it's just
his rhymes at the top corner.
Yeah. So what it is a collage really of just life. It looks like that surrounds him
with the words OC in the upper left, and then a little lower center is word
life. Yeah. Just the title alone. What do you think about the title, Word Life?
A lot of people have used word life.
Yeah, as a phrase.
And right? I know that phrase has predates the album.
Yeah.
But it's cool that it has its own place in time within OC, to where it's like, yeah, Word Life, that album. Yeah. It's like coined with his actual album, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I've heard that phrase so many times, and I remember when I would watch wrestling, John Cena would use it a lot.
Yeah. I think just from looking at it, it gives you the idea that he's about to go introspective, because there's a lot of different things in here. And you could tell he's probably going to talk about his life or the life that surrounds him, just because there's so many random images of just even like the street life that's around him that he's seen.
It brings back the point that I mentioned earlier, where his provoking lyricism is honestly something that feels personal.
Yeah.
Word Life is just, it encapsulates the word personal.
Yeah. So we're going to be covering 3 tracks. If you don't know, part of the format of our show is we go through 3 different tracks that we liked out of the album, and then we dissect it and read them over and just, see what the track's talking about.
Yep.
The first track we're going to be covering is going to be, what was that, Mark, that we're covering? The first track?
We had, was it Ozone Time's Up?
Yeah.
And then it was, we had
Ozone Time's Up, and then Born
to Live. Yes.
Born to Live.
Yep.
All right. So the first one in that is going to be Ozone. I did like the beginning of this album, because the beginning was just a nice soft intro of like, basically listen in to what I have to say, because like we're about to go in right now, basically. Yeah. So I liked the fact that he opened up with that. It was like a little, kind of a soft throw to you, just to kind of prepare you for what we're about to get into. Yeah. But I thought the lyrics weren't compromised. Like they were very up there still. And even the title track itself, Word Life, I feel like also we could have easily chose that one, just because he just talks about, his lyrical prowess, and his prowess is definitely evident in those 2 tracks alone that he already did. I watched his performance on the Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah.
Man, dude, when you have a live band behind this dude, man.
And sometimes there's times where that the Tiny Desk concert can go south because of the big band and the fact that, there's instances where it has happened like that, but it's cool seeing that marriage with MCs and hip hop in particular when it actually pays off.
He did it like that. He was so casual about it. Like he had his hands in his sweater and he's just like right there, just like going through these tracks like nothing, pausing at like just when it felt right and like engaging the audience when it felt right. Letting the band kind of do like breakdowns and stuff. He's like, just go ahead. And the trumpet's just like, like going off. Like it was sick. So we're covering the first track, which is Ozone.
Yeah.
And this track, in general, it's talking about his prowess here, and just being in his zone, what that's going to mean for you.
This is a braggadocio style where it's a lot about him, but also coupled with the fact of his vivid imagery, storytelling. Right. You're able to see it when he's not talking about his lyrical abilities. You'll hear it throughout all the songs where his style shines the most. Yeah. And it starts with the first thing. It starts with the first phrase here. It's how shall I begin? Like that you don't get that a lot from MCs, no MC is gonna be like, man, all right, I'm a rip. How shall I begin? Yeah. So it's how shall I begin? Ah, fuck it, the win. Come out on top, bruised but still, in all, I'm winning in the end. Oh, period, C, period, you're fearing it. So coupling the period with fear in it.
That's sick.
Next to me on my mic, rappers are just inferior. My posterior pose, not my brain, but secondary. Mic to mouth is how I drag down adversaries. So a little play on the word mouth to mouth. Mic to mouth is how I drag down the adversaries.
So multiple syllable rhymes here going on. There's slant rhymes going on. There's internal rhymes going on. I like it already. This first like couple of bars in, like you're getting technical already, but it's not too technical where it makes you kind of not want to hear
he doesn't get too scientific. Like when the weakness of a lyrical MC is like just outsourcing your audience. Being there's the case in point, Cannabis. Cannabis started here lyrically, baseline, right? Then just kept going higher because he had to top himself. Right. And it's like at this point, there's only a select few people like myself and a couple others that really root for Cannabis because it's like, bro, like what next? Because it's in my alley, but it's not in everyone's alley. Right. OC throughout this whole album stays just level, and he hasn't really, and nor does he need to go any higher intellectually when he's spitting his lyrics. Let me give you a brief bio. O's not based on style. Innovations on my thing so I can go the extra mile. I'll attack, attract, maximum, rarely minimum action.
And that's where he started double time. Rarely minimum action. Like
soon to be a club favorite because I'm becoming attraction. Schooling MCs with official competition. Parasol acapella, peep the weak competition. So he's flying. So parasol acapella. So he's above, and it's just him rapping. Peep the weak competition. So he's on top of people, literally rapping over him.
And or he's peeping him like a hawk, like peeping him from the sky of the weak competition. Maybe. Yeah,
they solicit. Is it live or Memorex with lies?
Do you recall that advertisement? Like, is it live or Memorex? So it was a thing.
So that was an actual slogan.
It's like an
from
advertising,
Memorex?
From Memorex, where they would say basically like when you would hear music out of a boombox, it would tell you, is it live or is it Memorex? Meaning is it, because Memorex was basically saying like when you're hearing it, it's so good, the quality, that it almost is like you being there while the person is actually like you in the room while they're actually performing or whatever. Yeah. So they're saying, is it live or is it Memorex? Like you can't tell if it's real or fake. So it's
okay. So it's a play on their slogan.
All right. It took on like a cultural, saying, whether it was real or fake kind of thing, like kind of like a got milk kind of slogan, like phrase, like just culturally took off.
It's like, oh man, that's pretty bold. That goes up there with, I remember Maybelline had this, the Maybelline beauty product said, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. It was like, it's just chicks like, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. I'm like, damn, that's pretty presumptuous. They solicit, is it live or Memorex with lies? Scared to use intelligence, your methods are irrelevant. Home writing poems, the wrong touch the microphone, blow up, I'm calling you bluff. Step into the ozone. So,
and I like that too, because O is going with OC. Yeah. So step into the ozone.
So
I like that.
The hook ends up sampling Prodigy from Mobb Deep when it's like, your first time will be your last Earth's memories from Shook Ones.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. And then so verse 2 comes, my trusty mic will never get rusty. Write rhymes day and night. Must shine. I'll put your lyrics in a bind. So get your lyrics like a boa constrictor. Gets them in a bind. Like the ink out, the steel blade penetrates them. I weighed him up and downside, made him move, laid him. Now he bears gashes, wounds are exposed. So he's been slicing them with the with the lyrics.
Yeah,
steel blade
way,
penetrates.
It's one of those things where MC talks about any which way you want it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring it to you.
He bears gashes, wounds are exposed. To one's writing music, now he's the decomposer. Foes are flammable in its entirety. Step back 100 feet or so, cause what I let loose is fiery. Oh. So his whole shit's flammable. It's flammable, combustible. So you better be back 100-foot radius, baby. Let's go back to foes are flammable in its entirety. Step back 100 feet or so, cause what I let loose is fiery. So that bar totally exemplifies what Guru used to do, where he cuts off after the end of the bar, the last two words, goes into the next bar to actually finish off the rest of the idea.
Right.
Letting you know that his foes are flammable, but step back 100 feet or so, because what I let loose is fiery. Still playing with the idea of hot lyrics.
Yeah.
Fist to cuff slips are blistered, not dread. Rappers want to sell because it's hot so they could lip sync. Claims they rip it. Yo, man, I could flow. So what?
Yeah, I want to say on that one, because fisticuffs, like I was trying to say, what was that? Meaning
it's
like a fist fight.
Yeah.
So basically, like his blows or his punches are so powerful and precise, they're going to leave your mouth or tongue blistered. And non-dread, basically saying, like, referring to the fact that he has no fear, no intimidation. And then rappers, they want to sell because it's hot, so they're following a trend just to make big bucks, and so just saying that they're basically like they're just doing it for popularity. It's not authentic. It's not about skill. And that's one of the things I like about OC is that he's doing it for like the principle or for the art of the rhyme, which
say that again,
is
bro.
Very that distinguishes you from the rest.
What's he doing it for again?
For the art of the rhyme, and
the principle
of it.
It's so that's a good point you bring up. We have people looking at their artwork with a deliberate approach, not on some funny business. Especially at this time in the mid-90s, you had no time for funny business.
Yeah.
You had, as a whole, you don't have time for funny business. But now you center to his locale in New York, there's no time for that funny business. Right. As a city as a whole, and then the MCs you got to deal with, the competition, Nas comes out with Illmatic at this time.
Right.
Like that exactly. Bar set.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely something that him sticking to the core of his style really helped him out, because it's like you could tell that he's taking a serious approach to this whole album.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're barely 2 verses in, and it's very apparent. Claims they rips it. Yo, man, I could flow. So what? Every word, 2 or 3 bars, all I hear is a cuss. So going into what we were saying is that this gentleman barely curses.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, because he could have already, with the flammable one, with the flammable bar that he said, there could have been curses to fill in here and there, but he'd rather use flammable, fiery. He'd rather use better words to describe his the hot lyrics that he's spitting.
Right.
You ain't impressing me. Manifesting meaningless. This is. Dog, he's going Shakespearean on you right now. The second verse, so I'm going to seal it off like this. Here's an invitation to be facing me, to seek salvation for proper education. Step into the ozone. I'm inviting you to face me
out. Yeah,
so you can seek salvation for proper education.
Calling all challengers for salvation.
Yeah, and I'll educate you.
Come to me.
Yeah, I'll let you learn something.
Yeah, that was dope.
Take the third verse if you will, my good
OC
friend.
in the zone, arcade and cannabis. Hit this. My arsenal of stock will leave your minds lost in the mist. I'll pick you off one at a time, line for line, rhyme for rhyme. Give me an encore, OC be light, soaring like a condor, effortless, one of the best at this, man, the money I'm worth to most governments will leave a big deficit, magnificent on my own drip, natural, saturated by the blend of beats, Buck Wild present, control the soulless with my mind power hour after minute, every second, troubleshooting, never die cause I'm infinite, when it's all over my physical shell, just rot. Rhymes will be left behind and cold blow up the spot.
All over it. And my physical shell just rot. Rhymes will be left behind.
Cold blow up the spot.
Dog.
So like his rhymes will be here long after he's gone. In other words, you know, and people will recognize.
That's word for real too.
My presentation you're tasting, I'm blasting in your face, and this is Camp Crystal Lake. I'm Jason. Step into the ozone. I like that.
Well, no, so it's my presentation you're tasting. I'm basting in your face. So the presentation that you get a flavor of, he's basting it on your face, kind of like the turkey to the sauce that you do with the turkey. And then he says, Camp Crystal Lake, and I'm Jason. Step into the ozone.
Yeah, that was a hard way to finish that one.
We get a proper introduction of this man's style, and he doesn't shy away from the fact that I don't need a cuss. Yeah. Basically mentions it in a bar, and to stand by that is impressive. Yeah,
what's cool about him too is that he even appreciates all styles of rap. You know, whether they called it mumble rap or whatever, he really didn't care because he talks about it in interviews. He really feels like it's all hip hop, you know, and he was young at one time as well. And he knows, like, when you're young, a lot of times you don't want to hear it from older cats, you know, you just want to or you'll pick and choose what you want. But, you know,
I gotta get on his level, man.
You have to let it be.
I
let it develop.
I was listening to that interview he did with Sway.
Yeah.
And it hit me deep when he says it's just like, yeah, man, they let them do their thing. It's like that shouldn't have any effect on you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've always been a child of like the just trying to represent. It's been a chip on my shoulder for a long time that I had to like actually I have to get over. It's like I always want lyrical hip hop to be the forefront of it.
Oh, I see.
And it's always been one of those things where it's like, it's never the case. It's always like almost there.
Something else.
It's like Kendrick's right there, and then it's like it goes back to just pop.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like will we ever get that shine, you know? So I feel him when he says you have to just ignore that and just stay in your lane and just like understand that, you know, it's hip hop music. It all still comes from that same tree.
Yeah.
So
second track we're listening to is Born to Live.
Yes.
Also produced by Buck Wild. Big ups to Buck Wild as well. I mean, all these beats so far are just like really nice. Really, really great production. The blend of like that jazz soul sound is just,
complements
it's a really good
marriage.
Yeah. Between,
because he doesn't have to get too, he doesn't have to get too crazy.
Yeah.
You know, this is where the Guru comparison comes to me, because
exactly.
Guru plays heavily into the
jazz sounds.
The jazz sounds, but it also complements his delivery because he could be lackadaisical, he could just be chill. And it helps him too because you hear him. It's audio, it pleases you audibly.
Yeah. Because
you're hearing him and it's like, yo, this I could play this at a chill volume. I don't have to pump the bass up. I don't have to do any of this. So it's cool to see those similarities in action more than a couple characteristics as well.
This is one of those tracks that really take you back to a time, well, at least for millennials. I don't know, but the future generations, because, you know, I think we were kind of at the tail end of this time when you would actually, you know, be forced to go outside and play with kids. And like, it's just kind of a little different now because now there's technologies. So, you know, that kind of consumes everybody's life now. Yeah. But at this, the way he tells the story, it really brings to life like those memories. And he's even name dropping like all the kids and stuff from that time, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Playing outside, bro.
Yeah. And and then also that, I mean, out of that just memory, he takes that and kind of like develops like a Wonder Years lesson out of it.
Yeah,
you know, which
absolutely.
Is
yeah.
You're
thinking of like, because
like how he narrates it almost towards the end of this track.
Yeah, you remember the first episode of the Wonder Years, the pilot, right?
I think so.
Yeah, where like it starts off with the guy washing his car. Yeah, yeah. And then at the end of the episode, you end up finding out he went to Vietnam and he died.
Yeah, it was Winnie's brother, right?
Yeah,
Winnie's brother was washing the car.
So it was
like a big old like.
Yeah, exactly, big downer. This is kind of, you know, the more we go into this song, it's kind of like.
All you hear is
Oh yeah, yeah. So, Born to Live, number 2, Born to Live. Like the dead end kids we used to play in the street, never worrying about grief. Football spelled relief. Ronnie Whitney was a coach for us. See, he taught us play almost every single day. Okay. Now on Evergreen was Larry and Mike and Lon. My cousin Boo lived there too, just to name a few. And Sharon. He's bad to the bone. Boo's little sidekick. Has a badass mouth. He sufficed it. On Harmon Street was Zach, Leo, and Ed. Meet Jody and Boo.
And this route right here, Harmon Street, is actually on the cover, I think. Harmon Street. Yeah, he has it actually on the cover too.
Oh, that's a cool little Easter egg to that. Nice. So on Harmon Street was Zach, Leo, and Ed. Meet Judy and Boop by June, Rocky, and then comes Tommy.
Like that's kind of challenging though, because you're rhyming all these kids' names and you got to make it rhyme. It's not always the easiest thing to do. So
yeah, this is 3 bars in and he's still naming kids.
Yeah, which is dope. And the fact that he even remembers all their names is dope. Like that's pretty cool.
Meet Jody and Boop by June, Rocky, and then comes Tommy and Cedric, Lamont and Greg, unique in our own right. At times we fight.
Like a little sound lot or something.
Yeah, like. At times we fight, but that's all right. Still not realizing we had love. It showed when we played the phony charades against one another. Now when I write the song, it's like we're still alive and a couple are gone. Damn. Whoa. Run that back. The phony charades against one another. Now when I write this song, it's like some are still alive and a couple are gone. Just getting resurrected in a bar.
Yeah.
Everyone is always living as long as you speak about them. Mm-hmm. And people like how he mentions Big L in that Sway interview a lot. How he mentions a certain couple kids within these bars. And then goes into the chorus too.
The chorus or the hook
the hook plays, deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're born to live a life and die. Life's so damn short, man. I wonder why. So that loops on a lot, but you listen to it. We're born to live a life and die.
Yeah.
Life is so damn short, man. I wonder why.
It hits you. The longer you repeat that, it hits you even harder, I think.
Oh, I shouldn't have heard that. At 4 a.m, I'm hearing this. I'm going to work.
The more and more you hear that, it then hits you harder and harder. Down to the second verse 2.
Yeah.
As kids, you're overlooking death. It didn't seem important or serious. It just seemed curious. It was about waking to a bowl of cereal. I like the just curious to cereal. Like it's a nice switch up. Cartoons on Saturdays, karate flicks in life, riding your skateboard or bicycle. It went as deep as Killer Joe on the corner drinking Ripple. That was nice. Plus, Puerto Rican kids on the block were cool. We got along. We all knew right from wrong. By far, we got a dose that life was hard. A Spanish kid we were close with was killed by a car. Shocking. Alberto was hit on the block, and death was spontaneous. His mom was clocking him. Across the street, he just received an award for Little League Baseball like an hour before. Plus, he didn't even get to see the summer set in, dying all young at the age of 7. It opened up my eyes more than the flesh was, more that the flesh was weak. As a kid, thinking shit like that was mad deep. Peep it. Damn. As a kid, thinking all that.
He didn't even do the reveal of the third verse. He just was like, all right, it's all joyous here. Let me tell you about this kid, Alberto.
Right. Which is, I mean, you know, it's hard to go into it smoothly, but I think what makes it really vivid was when he was just saying, as a kid, things didn't really seem that important, that serious. Everything was just curiosity, you know? Yeah. What a way to put that into a bar and say so much.
Yeah, there's less emphasis on the rhymes. I'm not trying. The rhymes kind of take a back seat here because you get amplified description.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like a great give and take when you want to do good storytelling.
Right. Yeah.
Because even with Across the Street, he received an award for Little League Baseball like an hour before.
Yeah.
So you're not really doing any, like, you know,
you're rhyming the end.
Exactly. But it's for this, and it's a less stress rhyme for the sake of more description beforehand.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we got a story about a kid who dies, right? Yeah. And him starting to now think about death as a young age.
Yeah. It sets in at an early age for him.
Yeah. Verse 3, now when somebody is gone, that's when you realize how close you was, how close you are, like a scar, real deep. It takes time to heal. And still, from time to time, you wish you could find a way to forgive and let them know you forgave, but they can't feel 6 feet deep inside the grave. What's left but to attend his wake, believing if it was you, he'd do it for old time's sake. Damn, I'm still disturbed by the news when I was told. I was sitting, knowing damn well Boo ain't bullshitting. My life flashed like big bills of cash. When you flash your bills.
Yeah.
And good times we had. Now it's all so sad. One of my childhood pals hit the road. And I can almost hear hit the road Jack. That rounds with sad. When you take to the streets, then you die by the code. But in this case, who knows what went down. Bottom line is wishing that he still was around. Now he found a spot in my heart, or should I say lobotomy. Mike, yo, you're trapped inside of me. And every other brother in Bushwick who rushed to your side thick, all down with the click. Yeah, God bless. He laid to rest. Called him Mike Boogie. That's what describes the best. Woo.
We're born to live a life and die. Life's so damn short, man. I wonder why.
Yeah.
We're born to live. We're born to live like that, y'all. Like that, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, this song is very relevant to today's times. I mean, especially for us now that we're older now in our age. We've had friends, even that were growing up with us that have passed away, and it's like very bittersweet. Yep. So this song, I mean, talking about life and death, very introspective, storytelling. Was very descriptive. It really makes you really see it, the imagery just by the way just by the lyrics. It's just a great storytelling. The beat itself too is what I think really brings this all to life, because the beat is, I feel like even the beat could be not commercial, but and this was one of his singles, so I guess commercial in a way, but not too commercial, but it was accessible to a lot of listeners because the beat kind of brought you in to this story that's going on that has a lot of substance, man.
Yeah.
And very relatable, like a Soundlot story type of story.
Yeah, exactly.
The third one we're going into now is Time's Up. Time's Up, man.
I got to learn ASL. That way I can start doing that's hip hop in ASL.
Oh, man, then we have to pay you, so I don't know. Extra. Can you translate this one in Spanish?
3 people at the same time, and I'm just trying to
honorable mention before we get into Time's Up.
Yeah.
I like Constables a lot. That was produced by Organized Confusion.
Ma Dukes was good too.
Yeah. Yeah, Ma Dukes. Let It Slide. I like Let It Slide a lot. I thought that one was tight. What else? No Main Topic I liked. Oh, no, Point of Views I liked.
Yeah.
Point of Views I liked a lot. So this album's great. Check it out. Check out this album. You'll be very if you haven't listened to it, very surprised on how good this album is. Time's Up. Time's Up is, I think, a jewel in hip hop. No pun intended to his second album. I really do think, though, this is one of those hidden gems. Like, if you didn't know it, like, this is going to be one of your favorites that you might have in your favorites rotation going forward.
Yeah, it's a good 2-verse special, and what I mean by that is where the MC decides to go 2 verses, little brief. If there is a chorus or if there's just an interlude, he gives you two verses. Sometimes it goes even to about 32 bars. Yeah, and then interlude and then 32 bars. Yeah. Those are pretty much what I say is, instead of going the traditional, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, you end up just doing the big verse, interlude, if chorus, and then another big verse.
And there's a reason why this track was chosen for 8 Mile. This kind of track is the type of track that, if you're into hip hop, will give you goosebumps. It's the kind of track that will raise the hairs on your arm. Like, it's the kind of track that gets your spidey senses tingling. Yeah. Because it starts off with the beat. The beat builds up that intensity for someone like lyrical that's about to throw it down on you. Yeah. Which is, all props and praise to OC, because he delivers that. He delivers that intensity. And I think a lot of his bars in here were sampled, used before, and that's a sign of a good track, a good record when that happens.
And it's respect at the end of the day too, because even if they do sample it, if they sample it enough, the royalties have to go to him.
Yeah, right.
So it's more along the lines of, hey, this is kind of like, I'm putting you on.
Yeah, exactly. You want to do us the honors?
Yes, I would like to, if you don't mind.
Boom, 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 boom.
You lack the minerals and the minerals and the vitamins, ions and the niacin. Fuck, who did I offend? Rapper, sit back. I'm about to begin. He tells you off the jump. He doesn't say that you're whack.
Rapper, sit back. About to begin.
He doesn't say that you're just like, you're whack. No, he tells you exactly this. You lack the minerals and the vitamins, irons and the niacin. So basically the forefront of what you need to be a sustainable, like, healthy human being.
And you got to think about it. I don't know any rapper at that time who has said anything like that before. Like, I know who now that has said something like that. Shoot. We just covered him not too long ago. One of Andre's favorite guys.
Oh, you're talking about Elzai?
No, one of the other guys. I'll come back to him.
Oh, Daylight?
No.
Cambada?
No, one of his other favorite guys. We'll come back to him. Food and Liquor.
Lupe Fiasco?
Lupe Fiasco.
Okay.
Has a track about this with the minerals and vitamins. We're all vitamins and minerals. Anyways, at that point in time, though, what rapper was breaking shit down like that?
Yeah.
I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't believe any rapper went there yet.
Well, they'll try to correct you in the comments.
But I don't believe that any rapper had gone to that point yet to break it down like that.
Not a lot of them.
So I love that. I love the way
no one's talking about I'll tell you this for sure, and this is pretty much guaranteed. No one ever put irons and niacin in rhymes up to that point. Yeah. Biss probably talked about, Biss is always going to be talking about at least half of what OC spitting, but only in the sense of like, hey, just when you end up saying the same things a few times,
Right. And also too, the second bar here, I don't know what it is about the second bar, but there's something about it that just is like perfection to me.
It sounds like, good too.
Fuck, who did I offend? Rapper, sit back. I'm about to begin. There's something about that. And
it's like he's pushing down the any of the MCs that like protested. Yeah. Fuck, who did I offend? Sit back, rappers, about to begin. Yeah. It's like the professor starting his class.
I think to me, it's like the articulation of it just sounds perfection to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because it does a lot for you, because that bar can go, it can be interpreted in many ways. Like I just took it one way, you took it another.
And I think it's like the peak of intensity as well. Like like, fuck who I offended. Like, that's like the peak of fucking, like, you're just like, I don't care what you feel right now. I'm coming off. Like,
it's the most New York thing about this whole album. It's like, fuck, who did I offend?
I love that.
About fault talk, you squawk. So squawking, it's pretty much running your yap.
Yeah, or like, you know, because he talked about it earlier about like those who are like cussing, you know, like all this foul talk, you squawk, you know.
Never even walk the walk, more or less destined to get tested. So their walk to walk is more or less destined to get tested. So they're just going to be tested. Never been arrested. My album will manifest many things that I saw, did, or heard about. I love that. My album will manifest many things that I saw, did, or heard about, past, present, future, all told firsthand, never word of mouth. So it's coming from the main source himself.
A diss to Ludacris in the future?
What's in the future for the fusion of the changer?
Okay, stop there.
Dog,
I want to just...
That is one of one. That's a bar that is one of one.
That is a bar in itself. That line doesn't even need a punchline. It's already there.
But the punchline's the best. All right, let's go. What's in the future for the fusion in the changer? Okay. Rappers are in danger who will use wits to be a remainder.
Yeah, man. So I want to talk about the first part of this bar.
Yeah.
What's in the future for the fusion in the changer? I love this bar for so many reasons. One, because he is contemplating the future of music. Particularly the fusion of different genres or styles. Just, you know, even the phrase of fusion in the changer could refer to maybe the idea of blending or mixing different music, different influences, whether it's DJing, sampling, or even production. I just like the fact that he's thinking about the future. Like he's actually contemplating and pondering what lies ahead for
getting philosophical, literally philosophical. Yes. Like we usually just say, yeah, you got real philosophical or like
you
kick
could take
philosophies.
so much out of this. He's continuing to ponder the idea. Will hip hop evolve? Will it be innovative or will it remain stagnant? Yeah. Will it fade away? Like he's in just that bar alone. He's talking about something so bigger than freaking hip hop itself, bigger than life.
Yeah, and the question he poses, he says, the first starts with a statement: rappers are in danger. Who will use wits to be a remainder? So who will remain? Here? Who will basically outwit everybody to remain?
To stay here
in hip hop. When the missile is aimed to blow you out of the frame, someone will keep their limbs and some will be maimed. So it goes to provide the same example of who's going to use wits to be the remainder. Some will keep their limbs and some will be maimed. The same suckers with the gab about killer instincts will turn bitch and knowing damn well they lack this in division. The same suckers with the gab about killer instincts will turn bitch and knowing damn well they lack in this division.
The thing that's so hard about these bars here is that just how like straight up, like real, like in that they carry weight.
He makes it sound like a sport too, because when he says knowing damn well they lack in this division.
Yeah.
So it's like in this conference, exactly. But this division, you're lacking crazy.
Exactly.
The connoisseur cracking your head with the 4x4. Realize, sucker, I'll be coming like Noah.
And that could be a triple entendre there. The connoisseur cracking your head with the 4x4. That could be a wooden plank 4x4. It could be a 4x4 wheeler, like, you know, running.
It could be an allusion to where he's building Noah's Ark.
It could be a 4x4 by your 16, because 4 times 4 is 16 by your verse, by your 16.
His 16 cracks you over the head.
Either way, like you're getting cracked, like, and that's a triple, maybe a double entendre for sure, but it could be a triple.
Realize, sucker, I'll be the coming like Noah. Always simmer you down, perpetrating facade and what you consider an image.
You said Noah hitting you with the 4x4 plank, with the wooden plank building.
I'll be the coming like Noah.
No, because like Noah's building the ark with the 4x4 plank, and you're like talking about Noah hitting you over.
Dang. Oh yeah, he's like, because I'll be the coming like Noah. Always simmer you down, perpetrating facade and what you consider an image. To me, this is just a scrimmage. I feel I'm stoned, not because I bop or wear my cap cocked. The more emotion I put into it, the harder I rock. So you've heard that sample plenty of times.
That line's been sampled a lot.
The more emotion I put into it, the harder I rock. Those who pose lyrical but really ain't true, I feel the time's limited. Hard rocks too. Time's limited. The hard rocks too. Get scratched up a little bit.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is that Nas was supposed to be on this album. He said that Nas stood him up in the studio. So he was sitting in the studio waiting for Nas, paid Nas the bread, but I guess Nas just never showed up.
Damn.
And ever since that, he strayed away from working with people outside of Digging in the Crates crew because of that experience. But it was such a competitive time. So like, you know, people would do that. He heard that Nas did that to many MCs, so he wasn't the only one. But, you know, it's just that in this golden era of rap, I mean, it was so competitive, so many good MCs at that time. Yeah. You're talking about Big L, him and Big L do a track on his second album, Dangerous, which is, he said the whole Digging in the Crates crew, like, they were just like, nah, like, where are you going? What direction is this? Yeah. But you hear that track back now, it's like, dang, like, he was ahead in a way. Especially getting Big L to just jump on 2 verses on that track was sick. But, man, definitely ahead, man. And who knows? Nas could have been on this track. I don't know. I don't know which beat it was that he gave Nas, but, I mean, I'm just picturing, like, Nas on any one of these joints with OC would have been cracking.
Yeah.
Verse 2?
Yes, sir.
Speaking in tongues about what you did, but you never done it. Speaking in tongues.
So it's like so if he's not really at a spiritual level with speaking in tongues, it's just gibberish.
Right. Ooh, yes. Admit it, you bid it, because the next man gained platinum behind it. So it's like this guy bid it, first of all, so he's a biter. But not only that, but people behind him are now using it just because it's trendy or whatever. And like,
so he bid it because some dude off of it became platinum.
I mean, how relevant is that today? Like today, we see this happen today. Like,
we're like clones.
Yeah, where they like, you know, will shamelessly imitate. Just
they're like a lot of cookie cutter MCs, pretty much.
I find it ironic, so I researched and analyzed. Most write about stuff they fantasized. Woo! I'm fed up with the bull on this focus of weed and clips. And I mean, today, this is so relevant today, man.
Yeah.
And Glock's getting cocked and wax not being flipped. So wax could be like records, maybe.
Yeah, it's not just no play on your records at all.
It's the same old, just straining from the anal.
Butthurt. People getting butthurt.
The content is not complexed or vexed. Listen to that. The content is not complexed or vexed. Man, so why you pushing it? Why you lying for? I know where you live. I know your folks. You was a sucker as a kid.
Damn.
He's calling you straight up. Your persona's drama that you acquired in high school and acting class. Oh, dude. This sounds like one of those disses I did back in the day to Brian. Remember, like, we were that nerdy kid in class we used to use. Sorry about that, Brian. We're older now and mature and different now. Your whole aura is plexiglass. Oh, I love that. Fake glass. Like, plexi is like the fake stuff. Your whole aura is plexiglass. Yeah. Your aura is plexiglass.
So it kind of looks like glass, but it ain't.
What's her face told me you shot this kid last week in the park. That's a lie. What is he, Murray?
That was a lie.
You was in church with your moms. See, I know. Yo, slow your roll. Give a good to go. Guys be lacking in this thing called rapping just for dough. Of course, we got to pay rent, so money connects. But I'd rather be broke and have a whole lot of respect.
Yes, sir.
Again, it's the principle of it. I get a rush when I bust some dope lines I wrote that maybe somebody will quote. That's what I consider real in this field of music. Instead of putting brain cells to work, they abuse it. Non-conceptual, non-exceptional. Oh, man, bars, dude. everybody's either crime related or sexual.
Damn.
I'm here to make a difference. Besides all the riffing, to traps I'm not sticking. Rappers stop flipping. Like stop, flipping back and forth from styles just to be relevant.
Or even to trap houses, to traps I'm not sticking. Rappers stop flipping. So it's like, I'm not even at the drug houses. Rappers stop flipping. So stop just being rappers and drug dealers.
Yeah. For those who pose lyrical but really ain't true, I feel their time's limited.
Hard rocks too.
This track
does not lack the minerals and the vitamins. It's actually a very rich, vitamin dense couple of 16s.
Right.
You get educated really quick when you break stuff down like this, and this is the pleasures that we get with That's Hip Hop, because we end up appreciating the MC a lot more when you slow everything down, not just hear it, but you listen to it and break it down.
Right.
You end up finding a new appreciation for MCs because you could feel like, hey, bro, they just weren't writing shit down. They took their time with this. It's like they didn't just go out there. This is kind of like a slow dance with their style, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like, OC is a very slept on MC. And for the hip hop purist out there, like this is going to be a guy that you want to keep up with, because he's been putting out albums. He does shows. This guy's really a respected MC. Part of the legendary Digging in the Crates crew. He was rapped with the biggest names out there, like, just up to par, Big L. Like he's done concerts and shows with Biggie, with Big. He's in that realm. But like not a lot of cats, I don't think, really are aware of this MC who's just out here like. And when you get a glimpse of his like substance in his music, it's the real deal. Like, when you want real substance, you're going to find it in OC.
Yeah.
Dope, man. He is a legendary figure in hip hop. He's definitely made his mark. His music's going to be enduring for a lot of years. So if you haven't checked out this album, peep game on this album.
Absolutely. I think the key word to this was delayed gratification.
Yeah. Because
you end up realizing that OC puts a project out in 94 that's still mentioned, that's still thought-provoking, still sampled, still paying him.
Right.
There's a lot to this album that is going to be rich in its own regard, whether literally, financially, or just rich in lyricism, rich in storytelling, rich in understanding that he was at a certain place in time where his lyrics were personal. And when it comes to be personal, there's the most intimate lyrics that come out of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best MCs have their projects where they're at their lowest and they have something to express. Not saying that OC was probably in a position like that, but you can certainly tell that there's characteristics of a lot of personal strife within his life that ended up leaking into this album.
Yeah. I like the fact that he never really sold out per se. You would say it like rappers would sell out, do things just to access fame or just to get a deal. Like he was one of those guys I feel like that stayed true to himself and try to make it like having as much control as he possibly could have. Never really did things for the fame and for the success, which he probably could have. Like if he hooked up with P. Diddy, he probably could have went more commercial, and P. Diddy probably would have, changed his style up, made him look a certain way, whatever, changed his name, blah, blah, blah. He could have had all these changes and things might have played out differently for him. But I like the fact that he's like an MC's MC. This is definitely one of those. He's a guy
respected as such.
He's going to be one of those guys that, like, if you're a lyricist, you're going to want to listen to him because there's something to appreciate. There's something to take away from his style. And I feel like this is definitely one of those golden era type of guys. Like, he's kind of in this weird middle ground between the transition from golden era, to 2000s and forward,
Yeah.
So yeah, check out this album. It's a gem. It's
Absolutely.
A gem in hip-hop.
Yep. Word life.
Before we leave, guys, of course, for the show, we're almost close to 400 subscribers on YouTube. That's our goal right now to reach. Thank you guys for those who have subscribed. For those who haven't yet, and that maybe follow us on any podcast platform, find us on youtube.com/that's hip hop 909. We also got the Instagram and TikTok account. Those are our 3 main hubs. So find us on one of those. If you're just listening to us through podcasts, you're missing out on the shorts that we do. We do shorts that have images and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. So find us on TikTok. That's going to be /that's.hiphop909. And then Instagram, same thing. That's.hiphop909. So check us out on those. Then we also have, just to plug in for Mark, we have El Notorious Pin, which is dropping pins. And there's a wide variety of different pins that you can have on your gear. And, I think right now, since it's a new year and we're still getting on, it's a good time to re-up on your pins and get some new gear. Tell them where they could find you at, Mark.
Yeah. Please feel free to find us on thenotoriouspin.com or on Instagram at elnotoriouspin. Feel free to look at the various pins that we have. We have plenty in stock that we have put a lot of emphasis on the pop culture, so video games, a lot more video games now, and hip hop related pins too. That the grand reveal when you access the website will be the reward itself, because it's pretty hilarious.
All right, everybody, go ahead, Mark.
To the MCs, if you drop a mic, hey, drop a like.
Peace out, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Sit back, I'm about to begin.
Fuck who I offended, but...